Yo, what's up, guys? This is Fariko, and there's some crazy shit going on with the pro teams right now. Today, so many roster changes, and not just like the B, type of players. I'm talking about A level players that changed places. Now, not all of them have changed yet, and there's more to come, but there's some crazy shit going down right now. I'm talking about crazy shit. Okay. So as you guys know, Complexity has been one of the most dominant teams in Call of Duty history. I'm not talking about just in Black Ops 2. I'm talking about in all of Call of Duty. So let's see where to start. Okay, so I guess what happened was Complexity was thinking about dropping Clayster for, I guess, about the past month or so. And the reasons that have come out, and Complexity directly hasn't come out and said the reasons why, but Clayster had posted something explaining how he was notified and the reasons that he was given. So apparently what happened was, according to Clayster, that it was mainly for personal reasons, not so much performance reasons. Which would make sense because Clayster has been a beast both in Black Ops 2 and in Ghost. So Clayster said that, they put him on a Skype call and basically told him that part of the reason was because that he wasn't getting along with his teammates, that he said that for some reason Clayster disliked them and whatnot. Which Clayster completely denies. I mean, a lot of the talk they have when they're screaming and whatnot, it's part of the game. It's in game, and I know there's any team has arguments. I mean, you watch Parasite and his team. They're always arguing, and a part of that is a process to work through things online, and online screaming is hit and miss because obviously a lot of it is. Just because you don't perform well online doesn't mean you're not going to perform well on LAN, because online, as you guys all know, it's based on connection and lag comp. So they told him that they were dropping him and picking up a Karma. Now that's another shocker, right? Karma onto Complexity. Now, initial thoughts would be, oh my god, it's Karma, he's going to make that team so much better. But I completely disagree with that. Karma didn't just bring, okay, so Karma might have, slightly better overall gun skills than Clayster. But, Clayster had that X factor that, a lot of teams lack. And that's, his mental game, his, bringing, making... I don't know how to explain it. Like hyping his team, keeping that fire and energy. I mean, and then not only that, strategically. I mean, I know Mr. X was involved in a lot of strategy and whatnot, but Clayster has proven over the years that any team he goes on, whether they have great players or good players or average players, he always makes them contenders. So this was a very surprising move, and one that. I think even with the addition of this might be the downfall of Complexity. I felt the weakest player on that team was Teepee and X were actually weaker members of that team than Clayster or Crimsix. And they would not have won Columbus if it wasn't for Clayster. He went off and search and destroy on Octane, and him and Crimsix were the reason why they actually won that tournament. So having said that, so another bombshell obviously is Karma leaving Envy, and that is not as shocking because Karma has been pretty frustrated with the results they've been getting, that they're not contending for the top 2 spots on a consistent basis. So I could see his frustration and wanting to leave Envy and joining. When Complexity approached him, obviously that's an offer that he couldn't really refuse. Now, Complexity originally had targeted Scumpii, and they were pushing hard to pick up Scumpii and dropping Clayster. But when Scumpii basically and I told them no. Their second choice was Karma. And, whether, do I think Scumpii is a bit better player than Karma? I'm not 100% sure. I think they're, pretty even field. But like I said, the addition of Karma will not make them, automatic favorites. I actually think that, it's a huge mistake. And we'll see what happens in the next, I think the next tournament is in Philly. And the other bombshell / not a bombshell is Jkap got dropped by Optic Gaming, and that is not too huge of a surprise. Jkap was struggling for various reasons in Ghost. He's a solid player, but in Ghost he just has not been playing very well, and I think part of it is his back. I think he has some chronic back issues, which really hinders his performance. So, that wasn't a huge surprise. And then the other surprise I really was surprised with was Goonjar from TK leaving TK. I mean, that TK was on the cusp. They were so close to getting over that hump and becoming, the top 2 team in COD and on a consistent basis. They had a very good mix of search, very solid, obviously search and destroy, as well as other game modes, and they were a very versatile team. And they came in second. They just barely lost to Complexity in the Columbus final. And so Goonjar, he got an offer for Envy after Karma left. He got an offer for Envy, and so now Goonjar has joined Envy. And so to recap, we have Goonjar to Envy, Karma to Complexity. Clayster is a free agent. We don't know where he's going to go. JKapp as well is a free agent. I'm not sure if he's going to continue playing COD. I'm not 100% sure. And so, there's 2 top free agents right there. Well, JKapp I don't consider him top free agent, but there's a possibility. I'm sure somebody will pick him up. So the biggest free agent obviously is Clayster, and Optic has a roster spot open. Will they pick up Clayster? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if Clayster feels Optic fits his mold. He likes to play with more not seasoned, but like, I'm not sure. I can't really say. I mean, he's talked a lot of trash regarding Optic, but at the same time, he does have friendships with Optic members. I mean, it's not. I mean, during the game and after games, obviously he's going to talk trash or whatever. But after things are said and done, Clayster still has working relationships with Optic's team owner, manager, Hex, as well as some of the team members. And so is there a possibility Clayster could be Optic Clayster? I'm not sure. It's possible. But then there's also Ricky from Unite. There's been speculation that Optic might pick up Ricky. As you guys know or don't know, I'm not 100% sure, but Killa from Unite left to join Curse Las Vegas to reunite with Parasite once again. They united again in Team Unite, and then Parasite left, and then now they have Killa back again. So who knows how that's going to work out. But Ricky is available. There's been speculation that Optic might pick up Ricky, but Clayster is very tempting pickup because he brings so much to a team roster, especially teams that require that X factor to bring him over the hump. And Optic Gaming has been struggling quite a bit, and if you watch a lot of their tournaments, they don't have that hype man. They don't have that person to really like fire him up, and just have that just animal killer instinct and push that team over the top. So I think Optic is either gonna pick up Ricky or Clayster. Not sure. If I was Optic, if I owned Optic, I would pick up Clayster, and I would actually drop BigTymer, because I believe his best days are past him, and he is one of the biggest weak links on that team. And what I would, if I were me, I would pick up actually Clayster and Ricky and drop Big T. So you would have Clayster, Ricky, Nadeshot, and Scumpii. I think that would be a really strong team. But anyways, I'm sure we're gonna find out in the next few days. Possibly more roster changes, and we're gonna find out who Optic is gonna pick up. And I almost forgot, TK has a roster spot open. So Clayster, I mean, if I was TK, obviously I would offer Clayster a position right away, or even Ricky. I think Clayster and Ricky are probably the two most solid players out there right now that could be had right now. So TK and Optic are the two biggest teams with roster spots open, and it's gonna be crazy. And is this the beginning of the downfall of complexity? My guess is it is. I don't think they're gonna be the same team. I don't think they're gonna have the same mental fortitude. I don't think they're gonna have the same chemistry that they did with Clayster. I mean, Clayster took a Unite team, back early on in Black Ops 2 to the finals, and they had a roster full of average players. I mean, it was pretty incredible. He single-handedly carried that team, and so who knows what's gonna happen. But this is probably the biggest single-day roster move, change, impact, whatever, in the history of COD. This is like huge.